So once we've entered the SG project app, the first thing we're going to want to do is duplicate our project from that original whole template. So we're going to press the project button right here in the top left hand corner of the screen. So once we get this select project drop down, we're going to click on the little blue circular button with a arrow pointing towards the right in it, and on this example we're going to click SF test prototype, but you just want to choose your original project template so that that's the one you duplicate every time. From here we want to duplicate this project and rename it, so we'll click duplicate project. So once you've successfully duplicated the project, you'll know because you'll see the copy at the end in parentheses. We want to delete that name and we're going to rename it, so delete that. So when renaming these projects, we want to write it just like you see here on the screen. Schedule, which is SCH underscore job name underscore code underscore structure, which you see here as STR underscore today's date. So whichever date you're working on the actual project. And once you're done doing that, we'll click done. Once you've duplicated and renamed that project correctly, the very first thing we're going to want to do is change that start date. You want to do that before moving around or deleting or adding any other tasks or changing any other dates. So very first thing we're going to do, start date, pre-con selection. So we'll click this red gear right here. That'll give you this little options rollout and you can click on more. Once this task options pop-up appears, we're going to need to go ahead and click on the start date button on that left column of buttons that we can select from. So we'll go ahead and click start date. Now once you've clicked that start date button, it's going to take you here and you can change the months by clicking these arrows on either side of the month, and that'll go ahead and tab over to the next month. So I'm going to set this from July 18th to August 17th or so. So let's go ahead and tab over. So I'm going to actually make the start date August 23rd instead of the 17th, just that way I have some extra time. I mean, this is just an example, so whatever day you're actually creating the document on is probably going to be around your start date. So I'm just going to put August 23rd and stick with that. So once you've selected the correct start date, you can click anywhere on the iPad just off of that little start date pop-up window and it'll close it for you. And we're going to look at the months right now in this little side view. It's called the Gantt view. You can see all these days up here. It's every other day right now, so we'll slide that over like this. You can see this little arrow comes up once you click on the months right here, and you can just move it left or right. So we're going to go scroll over, way over to the right, and we'll find the months over there. So once we slide over and we see this little chart right here with these tasks that are attached, you can zoom in and out on that screen with these top buttons. The plus will zoom you in so you can get a day by day read of the whole chart, or you can zoom out to all the way to probably a year, I don't know. But we're going to go out to every 2 weeks. So we'll click that. So we'll actually zoom out to a month, but you can scroll up and down this chart and make sure it's correct just by, you can tell easily just by the order of things and if everything lines up in kind of diagonal then it should be good. So I'm going to show you guys how to do notes right now. What you do is you click the task number that you want to add a note to, and you hold your finger there for a second. So you just gotta tap your finger on there and hold it, and the notes tab will pop up. Once that task notes pop-up appears, it's pretty simple. You don't even need to use that add button, that add note button. You can just click straight into this white text area and start typing. So just as simple as that, you can add your notes here, and once you're done, you just tap anywhere out of that task notes window and it'll close for you. And everything in this document actually saves automatically as well, so you don't have to worry about saving it while you're working on it. So once you've closed that task notes window, I'm going to teach you guys how to add a new task. So we'll go ahead and click this red gear again. So once that task options tab rolls out, we're going to click the plus arrow, and this will add a new task for us. So now you can see the new task right here, and we're going to click in that text area just right on the words, and it'll let us rename that right there. So when you're naming these tasks, it's pretty simple. I mean, if you're adding something functional to the job, you're just gonna write in there what it is and pick a date for it, or when you want to do it, or a predecessor for it. But I'm gonna just go ahead and use example task as my name, so it's easy to spot. So I'll go ahead and put that in there. So you'll notice that the color of that task is green as well, because I clicked on the start date gear to make a new task, so it also copied that color down. So I can teach you guys how to change the color right now. What you're going to do is simply just quickly tap on the number, and it'll bring up a little color pop-up. So once the color chart appears, I'm just going to set this to the normal color right here, the blue that all of these are. And I'm leaving the 7 at green because that's our start date, so you want it to be pretty noticeable. There's a few tasks you're always going to want to set in red. One is going to be this AR confirm 50% mortgage inspection. So we can tap on whichever number that is, and then out of that color selection we can pick red. So now that 50% mortgage inspection is red, we're going to go and also set the finish date as red as well. So I can quickly tap on the 125, that number right next to the finish date. Quickly tap on the color red from that color options, and the finish date is set in red. So now I'm going to show you guys what to do about the holiday slippage. So the holiday slippage is just those extra days that you know we are going to have holidays where the company is not going to be working. So what you need to do is go through the estimated start and end dates for these jobs once the schedule is complete, and see what holidays are going to be in between that allotted time, and add those days into the holiday slippage as extra days for work to continue on because of the holiday that we had to take off. So after we've clicked on that gear and we hit the more button, we're going to go to work in these little tabs right here on the left of this options. So let's say we've got Thanksgiving and Christmas time in between here. So we go from about 2 days of holiday slippage to about 2 weeks. So that's Monday through Friday is going to be 10 days for those. So we'll change that from 2 days of holiday slippage to 10. And that's how you set the holiday slippage. So now you can see that example task is in there just how I want it. And I'm going to teach you guys how to move and delete tasks right now as well. So we'll click this task edit button, I guess you'd call it. This 3-line button near the top center of the document, right under the job name. So to move one of these tasks, it's pretty simple once you're in that task edit little option. You click the 3-line button on the right side of the task. Make sure it's in the right task column. And once you click it, you want to hold down your finger and it'll kind of just pop off the screen a little bit. And from there you can, if you keep your finger on that button, you can slide the task up and down throughout that whole document, wherever you need it to land. So I'm going to move it right up here under settlement date, just as an example of what to do. So now that we've successfully moved the task, I'm going to just go ahead and delete it because it's not really connected to anything, and we're already in this task options button. So while still in that option, you can click this minus to the left of the task name, and you'll notice a little red delete button pop out on the right side. So you can just go ahead and hit the delete button, and that'll get rid of the task. So now that I've showed you how to move and delete the tasks in this task edit area, we'll go ahead and close that right now with that little 3-line box at the top center of the page. So I'm going to teach you guys how to set the predecessor right now. The predecessor is just the task that you must complete, and it must be completed all the way before you move on to the next task. So you just want to keep things in order. Say you wouldn't start demo unless the owner TL was removed already. So I'm going to go ahead and teach you guys how to set that predecessor right now. So we're going to go ahead and click on the budget complete gear and change the predecessor from here. So once that option rollout appears, we select more, and in this generals task you'll notice the predecessors right down at the bottom of that, right next to the color chart. We'll go ahead and press set right there. So to delete the predecessor, you simply click on the checked box and that will erase it from the list. And to set a new predecessor, it's as simple as checking a new box. So we'll check a box. Just be sure when you do check the box that you attach this link so that it's together instead of pulled apart. So you simply tap anywhere outside of this little pop-up and it'll bring you back to that general options. And since we're already back here, automatically this is where it'll take you when you tap out of that pop-up. We'll just make sure the predecessor we set is correct, so it's 8, and then we'll tap out of this. Alright, now I'm going to show you guys what to do if you need to disconnect a task from the list and give it a separate start date if it's not falling on the right day or anything like that. So we're going to click on this HVC rough. We'll click on that gear right there. So once we click the gear, that options slider comes out, and click more. So right now we're going over the disconnection of the predecessors so that you can set the task as its own separate start date and we're going to go ahead and press set in that predecessors category. So I know 26 is the predecessor. You can scroll up and down this if there's more than one. There are a few jobs that are attached to, or a few tasks that are attached to more than one task as a predecessor. But we're just worrying about 26 right now, so I'll go ahead and uncheck this. Now that I disconnected that predecessor, I can go ahead and just tap outside of this pop-up and it'll bring me back to that task options menu. So the reason we disconnected the predecessor is so that that task isn't attached to anything and you can set the start date freely. So we'll go ahead and click on the start date tab. So to change that start date, it's the same as before, or like setting the original start date. You pick which month you want to be in, and you can either scroll left or right, and then we'll go ahead and select the 21st for the new start date. Now that we've changed the start date, we're gonna go to how long the task takes to do, and we're gonna give the HVC rough guys a little more time. Let's say they have problems or something, or they gotta work something out, or I don't know. But if you ever need to change the work time, we're gonna do that right now. So click that work tab in the left hand column. Once you're in the work options, you can select days. I mean, it's already at 3 days, so you can see that there. You can also select like 5 days. Say let's select 5 days. So you can see in the center of that wheel right there, it changed from 3 days to 5. You can also do this with hours if you want to do it this way and select the buttons, but just click that hours button and it's already on that 40 hours because 5 days is 40 hours. So we could change it, just click the 20-hour button and you can see there that it changes. You can also change the days and hours by spinning the wheel right here. So you spin it clockwise and it goes up, and counterclockwise it goes back. So you could either do days, which is the outer dark gray, or hours, which is the inner circle. So that's another way to change the time. But once we're done with this and we have our time correct, we can go ahead and just tap out of this box and go back to the document. Now that I've gone over how to set these tasks and the start date and kind of navigate around this document, once you complete the schedule, you're going to go over the order of things with the project manager so that it looks in order, and we need to upload a master template. So it's pretty much from the start, the get-go, the first day that you start the job and set the schedule, you're just leaving it pretty much the way it is. And what happens is we put master after the file name and we upload that to Ignite, so that way we have something to look back on how our production is actually going. And you upload these schedules every other week to Ignite. So once every 2 weeks, you gotta upload them. So there's no actual way to upload this document straight from this page right here to Ignite. So what we got to do is email it to yourself, and then you download the email and upload it from right there. So once the document opens in your email, you're going to go to Ignite from there. And I'll show you guys how to do that right now. So you can click that share button. So once you click share, we just want to make sure that we're emailing this file with the correct file name. So we'll delete that name in there right now, and we'll replace it with this right here, which is SCH, that stands for schedule underscore job name underscore code underscore STR, which stands for structure, underscore master. And the only reason we're putting this master on here for now is because this is the first and original copy of the job schedule that we're uploading. So we upload this every other week and do all the revisions to the schedule. So when it's uploaded, we can compare it to this very first master schedule. So in the next weeks, your job scheduling is only going to look like this. Schedule underscore job name underscore code underscore structure underscore date. So that master is only for the very first one that you upload. Once it's named correctly, we'll click send email from here. So it'll take you straight to this email setup. It already gives you a subject, the attachments in there. All you got to do is click to, and then you're going to select your own email and send it to yourself. So I just typed the first few letters and my email's right there on the list. So I'll just pick it from that. And from here we just go ahead and click send. And it's going to take a few moments to actually get to your email. But once you click the send button, it's going to take you back to this home screen. Once you've sent yourself a PDF of this file, be sure to send yourself an XML as well, and you're going to upload the PDF and the XML together, both into the same folder within Ignite. So don't forget the XML file along with the PDF. So now that we sent it, we're just going to exit out of this application and go check our email. So I'll just click on my email from here. So once that email finally arrives and you see it in your inbox, you can go ahead and select it and then open that attachment. You kind of got to click it twice. It has a dotted line around it now, and when you click it the first time, the dotted line goes away and it's a solid line. So once it's solid, then you click it one more time and it opens the document. So once that document opens, we're going to click the options button in the top right hand corner of the page. We'll go ahead and select open in from that drop down menu. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit and get to that ignite option. There it is at the bottom here, so I'll click on that. So once you click ignite, it's going to bring you straight to this uploader, and we're going to click select folder. So once we click select folder, we get this pop-up. We'll go ahead and select shared. Once we're in the shared folder, we can click current customers. And from current customers, we're going to locate which job we're working on with the correct job and code and make sure it's structured, and then we're going to click on it. So here I'm going to use Alonde as an example. So once you're in the correct job folder, you can go ahead and click on production within that job structure folder. So once we're in that production folder of the job file, we're going to go ahead and click select folder in the bottom of this file pop-up, because production is where we want to save this scheduling file. So once you've clicked select folder in the bottom of that file pop-up, it'll bring you back to this screen, and we're going to go ahead and upload this file. So once the file is completed uploading, you'll get this file uploaded successfully box, and you're all done. So that's it for the scheduling app for Structure.